for likely the final time in 2025. Welcome to Power Hour, powered by Toxic Waste, Hazardously Sour Candy. I am your host, Eric Estep, joined as always by NASCAR driver Brennan. Well, Brennan, we have made it to the end of another long NASCAR season. How are you holding up, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good. It is like one of the longest seasons in sports though, so it is tough. And it's hard on all the guys, and I think everyone's going to enjoy. I think at the time we're recording this, it's 100 days till Daytona.
Oh, gosh.
100 days. I think it sounds like not that. It sounds like you need some more days in there, but it's 100 days. It's going to go pretty quick. So yeah, it'll be nice to have a little bit of a break, reset. My sister just had a baby. I'm gonna get to go meet the baby. So
Wow.
for Thanksgiving, so I'm excited about that. Um, and yes, we'll have enjoy the off season this year.
When do you start putting up Christmas decorations? Because my wife loves Christmas and is pushing me now to put Christmas decorations up. We had the evening free the other night, and I said, like, nah, can we wait until our birthdays are coming up right around the corner? Her birthday's this week. My birthday's like a week after that. So I'm like, can we wait until our birthdays are done at least? And she said no. She said we compromised and are going to put Christmas decorations up in between our birthdays. So by this time next week, there will likely be a tree in our living room and lights on the front porch. So what about you? When do you get into the holiday spirit?
You know, I'm trying to look here at the calendar because it's you can't put. I don't think you can put stuff up until after Thanksgiving. So what is that?
I agree.
It's
Traditionally.
like, yeah, traditionally, I think that's when you should. But if you just like Christmas stuff and you just want to be, I mean, you know, I'm for that too.
Fair
I
enough.
like putting the tree up and having it look nice and have it in the corner. I'm not home ever for Christmas, so I put all this stuff up. And then I leave and visit family, and I'm going to New Jersey, New York, or I'm going to Florida. I'm not so my house is all decorated and no one gets to enjoy it. It is what it is what it is. I'm gonna do it though, because it does. There's something about a Christmas decorated house that just makes it feel more homey to me. I don't know if
Yeah.
you get that vibe or not, but for me,
I
it's
agree.
like, oh man, this is great.
I had a doctor's visit yesterday, and it was in like kind of a hospital. And, you know, hospitals are not the most welcoming place, but they already had their Christmas tree up. And I got to admit, it warmed the place up, made me feel more welcome, more invited. I didn't mind being in a cold, sterile hospital for half an hour. It was almost pleasant because they had a giant Christmas tree in the lobby. Anyway, plenty of
Yeah.
holiday talk, I'm sure. Brennan, before we get too lost in the cranberry sauce with Thanksgiving and Christmas around the corner, we've got to talk about Phoenix Raceway. We got to do a live show Saturday before the Xfinity Series finale. That was fun. Huge thank you to everyone who came out and said howdy and hung out with us for a bit. It was bright and sunny all weekend. Still kind of felt like summer with that hot, dry desert air, but it was an eventful race for you. Believe me, we will get into our championship reactions. A lot of folks have already heard mine. I want to hear what you thought of all the championship drama this weekend, but I just want to talk about your race for a moment, because during our live show, you told the audience there that you were in your own championship fight Saturday evening to try and break into the top 20 in owners points. Can you break down the situation for us, and then we can talk about the last lap?
So the top 20 in owners is roughly a $75,000 bonus if you're in the top 20. If you're 21st, no money. So we were 6 points out of 20th going into Phoenix, 6 points behind the 10 car, tied with the 11 car for 21st. So I need to beat the 10 car by at least 6 spots. I think I did have the tiebreaker on the 10 if we tied. And I needed to beat the 11 car by 1 spot. During the race, things as they were progressing, there were times where, you know, I passed the 11 and felt like it was going to be okay in the beginning of the race. The second stage, they seemed to get a little bit better. The 10 car got pinned a lap down early in the race.
And they had a
so
backup
that was
car
key.
too, because he had
Also
issues in
crashed in-
practice. So that was a head start for you heading into that almost was the equalizer. They had a 6-point advantage, but you had the primary car still in one piece.
Yeah.
So Yeah.
That definitely, I felt like going into the race that we could do it. I felt like it was possible. We qualified right around the 11 car. 11 was pretty fast in practice, but as the race went on and that first run, driving up, passing him, driving away, I felt like, okay, it's going to be a battle tonight. And as the race went on and the 10 car was pinned a lap down, who almost got the free pass, by the way, multiple times, that was key that he stayed a lap down. He was pinned within the amount of positions that we needed to stay in front of him. So that worked out perfect for us. But as the race wound down at the end, when there was about 30 laps to go, the 11 car was in front of me. And Beelines, my spotter, came on the radio and basically was like, hey, if you need to save your stuff, save your stuff for a minute, calm down, and we'll go back after it. And I just took a deep breath and I had played around with the tire a little bit, which was great about having an hour practice. I could kind of push the tire
Yeah.
hard and then relax, cool everything off, and then push the tire hard again and see how the lap times changed. So I had an understanding of what I needed to do in case it came down to this exact moment. And I sat there and saved my tires from lap 29 to go to 10 to go. And when I got to 10 to go, I had the 28 in front of me and then the 11. And I said, I have to go. I have to pull the trigger here and just get everything I can get out of the car right now to the end. I was able to push and get past the 28, which was huge. And then in those last five or so laps, it was just trying to run the 11 car down to have a shot to make a move. And on the last couple laps, he just kept getting closer. And turns one and two, I drove into turns one and two as hard as I possibly could to try to pack some air on his left rear, get him loose, do anything I could to give myself a shot at it. And I'm not totally sure because your adrenaline, everything's really high in these moments. But I think I was able to get him a little bit loose off a two, and I just cut hard left to the flat and got a little bit of an angle on him where I got underneath him. So then we were side by side going to turn three, and then I just kind of overdrove turn three a little bit and just kind of scooted him up the track so
Yeah.
I would have the shot at the start finish line. And it worked, and I got ahead of him on the last lap in the
Last
last
corner.
corner to beat them. I got 20th by 1 point, got the
The video
$75,000 bonus.
the video of Tommy Joe Martins immediately leaping off the pit box, fist pumping, excited. Like that's really cool. That was a cool moment
Yeah,
and one that I'm sure most fans watching on TV weren't aware of coming into the
yeah,
weekend, but it shows still the significance. While we focus on the championship fight, rightfully so, there are so many things at stake. Top 10, top
yeah.
20, top 30 even. Like what does that mean? Like what is that difference for Alpha Prime Racing big picture?
Well, it makes the entire off season way easier to get through and keep your employees on and not have to let some people go. And it just helps with really getting through these winter months until we start racing again and we're getting purse money for each week. So it's really going to help us through the off season. Continue to work on our race cars and keep people employed because it's just tough.
Yeah.
We depend on that money and the money that we're winning each week to operate. So when it shuts off for 3 months, it's kind of, you need every little bit you can to keep it going. So, and those bonus monies for top 20 in drivers and top 20 in owners is a big deal. So, on the 44 team, we got the bonus money for the top 20 in drivers. I think we were 19th or 18th, and then we were 20th in owners and got that bonus money there too. So that extra money is going to go really a long way. It's a big deal. It's for us, that was our championship, and we got it done. And it's really fun when you can race for something that important on the line. And to win it on the last lap with the last lap passed by 1 point is like,
Yeah.
I mean, what a great moment that
It
is. I mean,
has.
that
That's
was
so
so much
fun.
fun for all of us, and that's why you see the emotion in Tommy Joe. One, because of how awesome that was, but two, the importance of the extra funding, the bonus money coming in, that's really going to help our team continue to do what we've been doing over the offseason. It would have made it a
Yeah.
lot harder to miss that. Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. Like I know you have not settled your plans 100% for next year, but there's obviously an opportunity to stay with Alpha Prime Racing. being able to continue to fund operations over the next month or two. I mean, don't take Christmas off, I guess, but like, does that allow the team to maybe hit the ground running even faster in February? Like, does that allow y'all to not be playing? Would the alternative have been, hey, when you first get to the shop in January, you're kind of playing from behind? Does this give you any sort of head start over where the team may have been otherwise in their preseason preparations?
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps us with tearing down some cars, maybe planning on, selling some other cars, rebuilding some other cars, getting some, engines rebuilt, getting things freshened up for the new year. 100% is it changes the game because now we have money that's coming in that is going to help us accomplish some of those things that we need to get done. Where if you don't get it, you're kind of stuck and a little bit more limited. I mean, $75,000 is a lot of money to a team like ours. I mean, it's for us, it's like winning a race or more. I mean, that's a big deal. So
For
yeah, it's
sure.
definitely gonna help us get some things organized and lined up for the start of the year. It's gonna help us. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. And to beat a couple of Colleague racing cars, and I know Colleague, especially since the Ram Truck Series deal was announced, I'm sure they are not at the top of Chevrolet's priority list right now. I think you and I've even talked about like the last few years, Colleague racing, with AJ Allmendinger committing to Cup. SVG came in and won some road races for him, but otherwise, like Colleague's numbers have dwindled the past couple of seasons, and then to lose some of that Chevy support just kind of sort of made things even faster. But that's still a team with resources that we've not long ago was winning races and contending for championships. So to go into that race at a deficit to two Colleague cars to beat them both, man, I mean, kudos to you. Hats off to the whole race team. That's an awesome accomplishment. I want to ask you a little bit before we move on about just your whole year. Back-to-back seasons now in that 44. You finished top 20 in driver and I think top 20 in owners points both years now, which is incredible when you think about Alpha Prime's budget compared to some of the other Xfinity Series teams. So looking at your numbers, this is the most top fives, most top tens, and the best average finish you have had since early in your career in those Chip Ganassi racing cars. So from your perspective, I know you're always looking for that next opportunity as well. You're building your own career. Like, how much do you think these last 2 years, that success in the 44, how much has that raised your stock? Does it help you get into more conversations with owners, with sponsors that otherwise you maybe previously would have had a hard time getting into?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think so. I've definitely had some very interesting conversations throughout this race season with a lot of different people, and I think that that's been, I've been grateful to be in those conversations because I have worked so incredibly hard to get back to the position that I'm in, and I'm grateful to Tommy Joe and Alpha Prime and Frank Kerr and everyone that's worked on my race cars to give me the cars that I've had that don't break, that handle really well, and we're able to make the most out of it every week. And for me, I think the last 2 years have definitely been a turning point for me in my career and for my future as far as moving forward in the sport and getting more opportunities. Yeah, I think it's been really good. I think the best thing for any drivers to be able to run full time in one of the series, get as much seat time and laps as you can, and try to have good people around you. And I've been fortunate enough the last 2 years. I've had really good people around me that have given me really good cars and have helped me put myself in some of these situations to get man, just some really outstanding results. And again, like you touched on it, we literally run on a quarter of the budget of the pretty much every team in the field. I think we're probably like 34th on budget out of all 38 teams. And so when you look at 20th in owners and 19th in drivers and multiple top fives and multiple top tens, it's just an average finish of 19th is I just think that that's really special because we have a really great race team and
Yeah.
everybody is doing their jobs and that's tough. You win with people, and really that's what it comes down to. But I'd like to think that I could get myself into a car that's capable of winning on a regular basis and fight for one of these championships. I think I've been driving probably the best in my career. I think mentally I'm in a really good place. And so yeah, everything is just kind of clicking for me at this
That's
particular
great.
moment. So yeah.
That's great, man. No, that's awesome That's awesome to hear for sure. And man, I see more and more Brennan Poole fans in my comment section at the track. I mean, there was a kid at Phoenix dressed as you for Halloween, had the like facial hair. It was, the resemblance was uncanny. I think y'all posted a video or photo,
Yeah.
so I'll put that in right here for people to get a visual representation of what I'm talking about. But that was, I was blown away. So no, it's awesome. It's been awesome to get to know you over these last few years, but really to see your career resurgence, I feel like, and a lot of folks now taking notice of you in that 44 team. I want to ask you some big picture, just bring up some big, broader Xfinity Series topics, because it's the end of the year. You know, the Steves, Phelps and O'Donnell, do their state of the sport address at the end of the year and just sort of, you know, hit on some numbers, hit on some broad topics. But you know, the NASCAR Xfinity Series saw some serious growth this year from a viewership standpoint, being on the CW, over-the-air TV, same network every week. According to reports, 21 races this year averaged over 1 million viewers, which it was the best ratings in 4 years, apparently, for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. They've got a new sponsor coming on board next year with O'Reilly Auto Parts. We'll see how they maybe activate differently than Xfinity. We've seen young drivers this season, from you know, rookies like Connor Zilich and Carson Kvapil making it all the way to Phoenix. Other rookies like Taylor Gray winning a race. William Sawalich started to figure it out as the year went on, and many, many others. Like, I just want to get your feel. Like, where is the Xfinity Series at? I guess I'll have to get used to calling it the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. It doesn't quite roll off the tongue as well, but I'll get used to it. Like, just how are you feeling about the Xfinity Series for the time being, the way this year went, the talent, the promotion, just everything? Like, how is it? What's the health level? What's the state of the Xfinity Series?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been pretty great. Definitely the CW coming in, having a chance to be on a network that everybody gets. I think that
Yeah.
that's been really helpful. Yeah, I mean, I feel good about everything. I think the racing has been outstanding. I think it's probably been some of the best of the top three, more consistently. I think there have been some cup races this year that have just been like unbelievable, outstanding to watch. And I think there have been some good truck races as well this year. I think the Xfinity is consistently, you know, sort of putting out on some great races that are fun to watch at all the different style of racetracks. So for me, I think the fans are just enjoying tuning into that. And again, yeah, I mean, a lot of young guys in the series mixed in with some veteran guys, and it just creates great racing because there are some mistakes that happen, and other guys that take advantage of those mistakes, and other guys teaching other guys, and you know, the most important moment of the race, and something goes wrong, and so it just creates a lot more entertainment. And I think that that's what the fans have been getting out of the Xfinity Series, and that's what they've been enjoying. But yeah, I think they're O'Reilly cars now, so we're gonna have to get used to saying that.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Get used to all the
try to
green.
not mess that up, man. The O'Reilly series, O'Reilly Auto Parts series, they're gonna instead of pay us to say as fast as, we're just gonna start saying
Yeah. Get your
O'Reilly,
singing
and then
voice. Yep.
say what you need to say. I think that'll just get every fan have that song stuck in their head immediately, every interview. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be really cool, and I'm excited about what the CW's been doing. And I think they can continue to push and continue to make our numbers grow. But I mean, I think it's been an outstanding year. It's been really fun working with them. I think the broadcasts have been amazing. Everyone has been doing a great job, whether it's Jamie Mack or Adam Alexander or Parker Kligerman or Kim Kuhn pit reporting. Everyone
Yeah.
has done a great job, and I have really, really enjoyed working with all of them.
Absolutely. No, the CW broadcasts were great. NASCAR Productions, of course, handling a lot of that as well. No, it was a fun year. You had your controversial moments. You had your, you know, Sammy Smith and Taylor Gray at Martinsville in the spring race. Jesse Love DQ'd at Rockingham. You had like enough drama and intrigue to kind of propel the season along. But you also had the historic season of Connor Zilich. That's a question. Which young guy, which rookie besides Zilich, because that's the obvious answer, impressed you the most? Kvapil, there was, I mentioned a bunch of it at the very beginning.
It's tough to say. I think Carson Kvapil had a difficult year, but showed signs of speed. And I'm curious to see what he does next year, getting another full-time opportunity. He deserves it. He deserves it. He made it to the Final Four as a rookie. And it's just like he was so close to winning a few times last year, and then like this year it just didn't quite come together for him. But I think ultimately it will. At least I hope that for him. I do think he's a nice kid. But yeah, I mean, Zilich, obviously, I don't even know if you can really count him as a full-blown rookie. He's raced so much stuff all over the place, so many different times, raced and won Xfinity races a year before. Like, it just like, okay,
Sure, yeah.
but I think, yeah, I think he was probably the best driver overall throughout the entire year. Connor Zilich was. So kind of bummed for him. I know it didn't work out the way he wanted, but I also am, sort of friendly with Jesse Love, and we have talked multiple times throughout the season, and we talked right before the race started on Saturday. So I'm kind of happy that Jesse was able to get it over the line and get it done. I think that was a big moment for him and his career, and it'll be really interesting to see what happens moving forward. I know he's running the two again next year. There's just not a lot of places for him to go
Yeah.
right now on the Cup side of things, but yeah, I think so. I was kind of happy with how all that went. Yeah.
Yeah, we can move on to that for a moment. You were happy to see Jesse Love. I was happy to see Jesse Love. He's a great guy. I love Jesse Love, and I think he was very open and honest in his post race about 2 years ago. I think it was he was in a Toyota. I think was he in a Venturini Toyota. He won half the ARCA races and won the ARCA
Yeah.
Menard Series championship as a teenager. Which there's a few good competitive cars, but if you're really as good as we expect Jesse Love to be, you should win the ARCA Menard Series championship. But he was riding high, and he said he felt it. He felt like, hey, I'm like on that short list of prospects that's got the spotlight on them now. And then this year with Connor Zilich bursting onto the scene, his good buddy, winning 10 races, setting records, 18 straight top fives, Jesse admitted that like it was mentally challenging to lose some of that spotlight to a good friend. He saw Connor as a friend, but also as his competition, used him as motivation to get better. And Jesse had a really good season. He took a leap from year one to year two. If you look at the numbers, more top fives, more top tens, obviously an additional win that he finally won a non-super speedway race. He won two, really, if you count the
Yeah.
Rockingham disqualification. Like Jesse Love took an obvious step this year, and I don't think anyone believes that the 2 car has the resources behind it that the 88 car does on a given week. So Jesse Love should be very proud of the season he put together. But when we're trying to label a season-long champion, I think fans rightfully feel a little. It feels like what we watched for 9 months was invalidated by the final laps at
Yeah.
Phoenix, and
Yeah.
it comes down to the format. But it's one of those situations where I don't think Jesse Love should feel bad for winning. He
No.
played under this format and ran in a phenomenal race on Saturday. But it does sting as an observer knowing that Connor Zilich had the championship season in just about every
Yeah.
sense of the word. And so it's a difficult dynamic. How do you as a driver sort of come to terms with that? Or what is your, like, how do you
Oh, it's
process the format, the results?
I think you just I that's a really really good question, Eric. And I think, being in that position and it coming down to one race that has to just go perfect with so many different variables is like tough for all of the drivers and teams to swallow. It's like really tough. And I think some of it has to do with the fact that in other pro sports, it's one team versus one team to win it
Yeah.
all, whether it's multiple games or one game like it is in football. It's one team versus one team that was playing one team versus another team all the way till they got to that point. So when you're talking about a full season, um, and the way that we do it as far as racing goes, because there are so many variables, it needs to be who was the best over an allotted period of time. Whatever that time is, I'm not totally sure what that should be. I think having the playoffs be like how it used to be with 10 cars, these are the top 10 cars that made it, and they're going to run 10 races, and the best over those 10 races wins all of it. Okay.
Could be the
I mean, that
compromise. Yeah.
yeah, I know that's like going back more to how it was or whatever. If you need it to be 16, make it 16 and let them run 10 races and who's the best points over these 10 races wins the whole thing or something like that. then you could potentially have someone that shines in the playoffs and gets farther up or even wins the whole thing that you weren't expecting. Example, Tony Stewart, it's already happened
Yeah.
before, went down to the final race, and also they tied, but he won the final race. So I mean, I think there are elements here that I think should probably just still be talked about, to try to continue to make this format where it works for everybody, rewards
Yeah.
the fans, rewards the teams and the drivers. I'm sure everyone is probably a little heartbroken for Denny Hamlin, whether you're a Larson fan or not. Um, that was crazy.
Yeah.
He deserves a championship and arguably was the best driver all
Well,
year on the Cup side as well too, and didn't get it.
Denny Hamlin had a great quote. I know we're moving on here a little bit, but yeah, and this is all kind of part of a broader format, and I think just how is the sport crown champions discussion. But Denny Hamlin, I think, said it best before the awards banquet the other night. He had a quote. I wrote it down. He said, "There's a difference between deserving and should have been." I think
Yeah.
Kyle Larson's a deserving champion when you look at his full season of work and the 7 top fives he had in the playoffs. Like, he may not have won one of the final races, but he was damn near close every single week. Like, I think Larson, toe for toe, toe to toe, is a deserving champion.
Yeah.
But Denny Hamlin probably should have been the champion based on
Yeah.
how he played the format, how that final race was progressing. He just whipped everyone. They worked on the
Oh
car
yeah.
all day, got better on the short run, and blew the 24, the 12, everyone out of the water and got done in by a late caution, overtime, and maybe a questionable decision on pit road. And it stinks that it came down to that. That's NASCAR. But it sucks. Like,
Yeah.
we can kind of stomach it when individual races come down to that from time to time. But when that individual race also cements the storyline of who was the champion this year, it's harder to stomach. And it's got to
Yeah, it
be
is.
impossible for Denny Hamlin to stomach today.
Yeah, it has to be. It makes you feel for him, especially as another competitor, another race car driver, trying to put yourself in that situation. That's tough, man. That's really, really, really tough. And I can understand some of the things he said and some of the feelings. But I hope he sticks with it and tries to go after it for at least give himself another shot at it. Because I think he is driving probably the best that maybe he's ever driven. And it is coming down to the end, and hopefully he can get over what happened in Phoenix this past weekend and can carry on, and you hope he gets it done at
Yeah.
some point for him, for his sake.
I feel like, because, yeah, he made the comments that, hey, he said, I'll get over it. It's going to take some time. But then also said that right now he can't even imagine having to get behind the wheel of a race car. He's going to need a break. He
Yeah.
absolutely needs and deserves a break. I wonder, as a fan, I feel like I'm also kind of exhausted, burned out this year over, the whiplash of storylines. I just think about, like, on the Cup side alone, Xfinity was obvious. It was Zilich dominating, incredible season, only to lose it in the final race. On the Cup side, though, it was like William Byron, Daytona 500 back-to-back, puts together a consistent regular season, wins the regular season championship, but then the playoffs start, and Byron was kind of bad for like 6 weeks. Chase Briscoe suddenly looked like the hottest thing in the garage. And then it all comes down to this final race. Looks like Blaney might win his way in. Byron steals the last spot after the heartbreak of Ty Dillon. It was just so much narrative whiplash over the past 10 weeks for it all to come down to an overtime restart. I'm exhausted. Let me see if I can get back to my point here. I feel like I will be rejuvenated for the 2026 season in January when NASCAR announces a new format. Like, I'm a fan. I like playoffs. I don't like the one race to settle it where you kind of force a tiebreaker every year. And I haven't been a fan of that. I've never been a fan of that, but you kind of just stomached it in the past. This year, the fact that it almost cost Heim a title, it did cost Zilich a title, Denny, the way it played out, like, it's impossible to stomach at this point. So we know that's not going to come back. So whatever NASCAR's next format is, whether it's just get rid of the playoffs, or if it's, hey, let's bring back a version of the old 10 race chase, I'll be able to stomach it. I think most fans will likely be able to stomach whatever edits they make if they go that direction. And I feel like if you're Denny Hamlin, does that January 15th, I don't know, throwing a random date, does that announcement, does that press release give you a shot in the arm and say, oh, last year sucked, but I know that's not going to happen again. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't, what do you think? What do you think about it? Do you think that I'm crazy, or do you think it takes even longer to, let me ask you a different question, Brennan. And I know I'm all over the place here. I don't want to like bring up bad memories. Have you ever experienced the kind of like loss or defeat in a race that had you questioning, like, damn, do I really want to re-rack it and do this again on track?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that I have, but again, like Denny Hamlin says, it's like you're gonna get over it. I mean, it just, I've ran so many races now at this point. I can't even. I try to remember races that I ran.
You try to forget the bad ones.
Yeah, and I try to go back and remember things that happened, and I'm like, man, I can't really remember everything that happened in that race. Like I know I was there and I know I ran it, but I don't. You kind of forget some of those things as time passes. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely been times in my career where I've been frustrated with how certain things went, or things out of my control, or calls that were made against me, or
Sure.
whatever. And it is frustrating. And it's just, I mean, it's just racing though. I mean, you kind of learn at a very early age that racing is not fair. It's never been fair. It's never going to be fair. And you just have to figure out how to win regardless of those circumstances. And it's tough, man. It's really, really, really hard to do it and to win at the highest level. It's really, really, really hard. And then when it all comes down to one race, it's even harder to be
The,
the champion.
yeah.
So,
It just, the emotions, the pressure all ramped up to a million, which is what NASCAR wants. But then as a result, it sometimes, this weekend being a great example, the payoff doesn't land, I guess, the way fans and even the drivers were likely expecting. Side note, I didn't intend on us talking about the truck race much, but what was your reaction to Corey Heim going 7 wide along the inside wall to get back into the fight there?
made me want to try it the next day. So
Would
I'm
you,
gonna
if
try
you were
that.
further, if you were further behind the 11 on the last lap, would we have seen you down there trying to
I
make
might
something
have tried to
happen?
cut it. I might have tried to cut it that short. I don't know. I will tell you on one of the restarts I did. I was way down there, like way down there, like to the wall as well. And I mean, it kind of works. What was crazy to me is the presence of mind. Corey, I had to just downshift into third gear, also
Yeah,
down there and gas it up. I'm like, man, what a move. But it worked out. I had thought that they also made the wrong call to put 4 tires on it. And when Ty Majeski put 2 and he was an inch away from the white flag and the yellow flag, I was like, oh my God, he just
yeah,
stole this. And then they had to do it again. I'm like, he's in trouble because of four
yeah.
tires versus 2. But I think the fan base was like, okay, well, I'm glad this worked out tonight because the guy that won 12 truck races when there's only 23 of them won the championship.
Yeah, it was
So
a
I think that
relief.
all that stuff was good. Yeah, but then, obviously the next two nights were a little bit more crazy and wild. But I mean, some people are going to be like, that's why we watch it because you never know what's going to happen. And I'm on board with that. I agree. I think it creates a lot of excitement. It's wild to watch. But as a competitor, for it all to come down to one race on that side of things, and with a lot of things out of your control, it stinks because you work
Yeah,
all year, you build up a big advantage from being consistent and smart and finishing races, and your car's not breaking, and then it coming down to something out of your control, maybe at the end coming down to one race. That part of it is frustrating, and there might be no perfect way that makes everybody happy, but it's fun to talk about.
yeah, yeah. We'll see what NASCAR decides, and they may not wait until January. They could announce it next week. Who knows? But we'll see if and when. Well, we know they will, but when they make
Yeah.
that announcement. Before we move off the Cup race, I know you're not a crew chief, Brennan, but I was curious. Like, so Denny Hamlin takes 4 tires, but he had the last pit box, or the first pit box, whatever you want to call it, the last one before you exit. Kyle Larson pit on the front straight. Sorry, the back straightaway now. Kyle Larson was in one of the first boxes coming in. Timing wise, would Chris Gale and the 11 team have had enough time to react to Larson taking 2 tires? And then my other question would be like air pressures, for example. That was a hot topic of conversation during the race. Like, have the tires juiced up a certain way for rights only versus four tires, or would that have really mattered? Like, would they have had to like rip those tires off the wall and quickly put other tires on the wall and then do the pit? Like, how difficult would it have been, in your opinion, for the 11 team to react to what the 5 did?
What I'll say is, I think there are times where the crew chief can get information on another car taking two tires, and they be separated enough where they can change the play. I think that is possible. I think in this moment, not totally sure because I'm not one of the guys, so no one come for me, please. But I think that they felt like the four tires just was the right call.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, too many cars in between them also took two tires only. So that was the problem is, all right, if a few people take two tires, we can live with that. If 10 people take two tires, that might be a
Yeah.
problem. And that's kind of what happened. Where I think they were probably thinking, how many people are realistically going to take two here? Three, four people maybe. We'll put on four. We'll be good. And then it just that kind of got them. Which again, it's not one team versus one other team for a world championship or a championship. It's you versus all of the teams in one event that you hope their decisions don't affect the outcome of the race,
Yeah.
but it almost always does.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I just thought that was interesting because there's something to be said for Chris Gale and the 11 team just strongly believing, hey, we have a plan. They've probably simmed this out 1,000 times. Their metrics are all telling them take four tires, commit to your plan. There's something to be said for that. But I think there was also, I think it's fair to question, I know we're all armchair quarterbacking this on a Monday morning, whatever, but like, it's fair to question, hey, you had position over the 5. That's the only guy you're really racing at this point. Why not match them if you have the ability to ensure you stay ahead of them on the same strategy, I guess. So they could have gone the more maybe safer route of trying to just take two tires, but I was just curious how quickly, because there's also like, I know the crew chief, once Hamlin gets close, is calling Hamlin into the box, 5, 4, 3. Like, so the radio's busy. There's people there. Everyone's visually and doing 5 different things at once. Like, it's not easy for the spotter or whoever to call in 5 took 2, and you have a split second to react.
Say two.
Yeah,
I mean, there might
because
be
you also risk like messing up the crew guys if they're like literally going over the wall. Like I don't know if it changes their routine now that much, but it's still like now all of your pit crew guys are having to change their thought process right as they're going over the wall for the most important pit stop of the year. So it's we're obviously hindsight's 2020 on this, but I just was curious from your perspective, like
I think it's tough.
Option? Yeah.
I think it's tough, and yeah, it definitely is. I mean, the spotter and crew chief can talk on an alternate channel on channel 2 that everyone won't hear, so they could be like, "Hey, the 5 took 2," and they could pull an audible. If they don't, I guarantee you, there's going to be something new in place in order to keep that from happening again in the future, where you could audible and do that. But I'm pretty sure that they can already do that if they have the information. I think in this case, they thought the 4 tires was the right call. It turned out to not be the right call, but yeah, man, you gotta make your decision and try to stick with it and stick with what your gut says, and 9 times out of 10 it can be the right call if you're good at what you do. So, and I think they are.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's what I mean. It's like there was a lot of prep behind the scenes that went into that decision. So it's a risk to pivot in the moment, call an audible. That's a risk for sure.
It's a risk.
It's easy to talk about it with the advantage of hindsight, but yeah, what a championship weekend. Exciting at times, controversial at times, disappointing, thrilling. I think I experienced every emotion as a fan just watching this weekend. So I don't know if that's good or bad. At least it made me feel something, I suppose. Before we move on to our next topic, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Toxic Waste, Hazardously Sour Candy. Toxic Waste was on your car 2 weeks ago, Brennan, ahead of Halloween, Martinsville. That scheme was one of my favorites of the year. And you also ran it in our charity race, Groovy Hollow. Appreciate you participating in that, by the way. But yeah, Toxic Waste, I know they've been big partners of yours the past couple of years as well. Great to have them on the show.
Yeah, they make the best candy. I'm addicted. It's not even, I'm glad they're sponsoring the show, but and I just like the candy from the get-go. And everybody that I know that tries it, or most of the people that I run into have already tried it, are just like, this is the best, or my kids love this. So, any parents listen to the show, help us out.
Legit.
Get some candy.
It's awesome. Like I love sour candy. I love I like candy. Who doesn't love candy? But,
Yeah.
like I've always liked Toxic Waste. You'd see it in the candy stores and stuff, and it has this like delightfully vintage, old school kind of appearance. It doesn't look like, all these recognizable logos that have been modernized. And then you see Toxic Waste. That's just silly, goofy, delicious fun on the shelf, and it stands out. And I've always loved that. So when they started getting into racing, working with you, now working with this show, I was like, heck yeah, sign me up. No brand more fun to work with than Toxic Waste Hazardously Sour Candy. So hopefully you got some Toxic Waste in your bags this Halloween. Appreciate their support. Where do I want to go next? We have fan questions coming up in a moment. Let me ask you. I asked you this live last weekend, but I'm going to ask you it again here, recorded for the official show. But NASCAR confirmed this weekend that Cup drivers will be allowed to make more Xfinity and more Truck Series starts. I think now the number will be 10 Xfinity, 8 Truck starts next year. If there's a playoffs, they're not allowed to run playoff races still. But I wanted to get your take on that. Do you think that's good for the health of the sport, or why do you think NASCAR made that move? Are the teams asking for it? What do you think?
I think some of the bigger teams are probably asking for it, but I really don't think we see much change in the landscape of the Cup guys running Xfinity or trucks. The Cup car is so different than anything that else that runs that it's not really helping them anymore. So the only reason why they would be doing it would be to make money. It's a monetary thing.
Yeah.
So I just don't think you'll see it. And I think, Eric, you and I talked about, I think Ross Chastain is the only driver that maxed trucks in
Yeah.
Xfinity out with
I
this.
still haven't
So
I haven't fact checked that yet still, but yeah, I believe he's the only driver
I
who
think
maxed
that's,
out both.
yeah. So I don't think I just really don't think much is gonna change. I think it'll probably be about the same. You'll probably see some guys come run, whether it's Larson or William Byron sometimes in that 17 car or whoever, or Bowman, whatever. You might see someone jump in one of the Gibbs cars, maybe potentially get a couple Xfinity starts over there if they're trying to fill out something. I don't think you'll see much in the junior landscape unless it is Ross Chastain or
Oh
maybe
yeah.
SVG wanting to run a road course for more laps. I'm not really sure. I just don't think it's going to be this big change I just don't see it changing much, to be honest.
At Kyle Busch, someone asked him in the media center this week, like, he did run all 5 truck races. He was eligible. He has a connection to Spire. He ran all 5 races there. He didn't run any Xfinity races this year. And someone asked, like, well, what about next year? You're going to try to run any more? It's a little more open. And Busch admitted, like, hey, well, no one calls. No one's giving Kyle
Yeah.
Busch an Xfinity ride. I think that speaks to, it's a sponsorship game, and Kyle Busch so focused in on RCR, and they don't really have an opening on their Xfinity side. Did they bring a third car to the any Xfinity races this year? I don't think
I
they
don't think
did.
so.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
maybe Casey Kane's 33
Ooh,
at
yep.
Rockham.
But
That was it.
was that a Hendrick
I don't
aligned
know.
car? That
At
was weird.
HendrickCars.com on it.
That was weird. Yeah, I don't know what was
Yeah.
going on there. Fair enough. Okay, well, man, I wonder if we'll get any more Casey Kane Fridays in the future. We'll have to wait and see. That was a random one. Wait, were there any random drivers this week that made a one-off start that had you go, huh? Like Casey Mears coming back to run a handful of Cup races for Carl
Well, he's
Long.
trying to get to what, 500 starts
I think
or
that's the
something in
number. Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, so I mean that I can understand. He's trying to get to 500 starts, and it's like harder than ever to be one of the Cup drivers, especially with the new car and the way things are. It's just like so
yeah.
difficult to get in one of those cars. So, it's interesting to see how that's going. But no, I mean, well,
I'm
no, I
trying.
don't know.
Who made an appearance this year? I saw a report today. Jimmy Johnson is he's trying to run all the races at San Diego next year. He wants to do a truck, Xfinity, and Cups. He's going to do Cup, it sounds like, but he
Well,
wants us to do the other two too.
just big time, man. Big
Daniel
time Jimmy
Suarez,
Johnson.
Mexico City, won that race. He doesn't
Yeah,
make many of those starts anymore. So yeah,
I know that was cool.
yeah, interesting. I forgot about that Casey Kane race. I picked him. I think I picked him to run top 5, and I think he did for a while. And then I don't know where he
Should
finished.
have picked me, Eric.
Where'd you finish in that race? Did you have a top 10?
Fourth.
Fourth? I don't
Fourth.
remember that. Oh my. Oh, wait, I do remember that now. Wait, I do remember that now. Yeah.
With bruised ribs, baby.
You've been running top five so much this year, man. They all bleed together. What can I say? It's a compliment. That's what I'm saying. Well, Brennan, I think it's time now for our final fan question segment of the year. We
Okay.
appreciate all of the viewers and listeners. If you're watching us on YouTube, that's the best place to leave a comment, leave a question. That's where we'll see it. Got a couple here from some longtime viewers, longtime listeners. We will start with Stephen Gillespie, as I believe how you pronounce it. He says, I would love to know more about the process of hunting for sponsors. Brennan, I know you've answered similar questions in the past, but like week to week, how hands-on are you chasing sponsors versus like the team? I know your wife and folks, others like help you out with a lot of stuff as well. What's the grind like? Just kind of big picture. What does it look like?
Well, I think every driver, for the most part, is hunting to find their own funding because that's what it takes to get it done. I think the biggest thing is that a lot of these companies, people think it costs millions and millions of dollars to have a partnership in NASCAR, but I mean that's really not true. I mean we do a lot of reasonably priced deals for a lot of our partners, which I think is something great that like we can offer on our side of things. But yeah, I mean it's definitely tough, and you're reaching out to a lot of people and being told no a lot, but eventually those no's turn into yeses. So you just have to keep fighting and keep talking to everyone and keep leveraging all your relationships to meet more people that might be interested in the sport and trying to get people out to the racetrack so they can really take in NASCAR and what it's like to sponsor and support a team and a driver and sort of what it can do for them. And every company is different. Every company's wanting something different out of the sport, and a lot of sponsorship relationships can be based on totally different things. You know, I have partners that really care about building their brand awareness up, and they're really just in the sport for eyeballs, and that's great in the Xfinity Series for the cost you get to get in front of 1 million people every single week, plus social media, fans in attendance, people that can interact with the brand. It's a really really good deal. And then I have sponsors that basically have suites at some of the races, and they bring all of their family members and some of their customers to the races with them, and we all have a great time together. And I think it's more about for the love of the sport, right? It's a different thing. So it varies. It's all over the board for me with everybody that I work with, and I'm constantly trying to find more to pull people in, to continue to raise more money to go fight for wins, you know?
What are besides price, I would imagine, what are some of the most common, like, first questions? When you get someone on the line or you're meeting with a potential sponsor or a CMO or someone important, like, and you got their ear and they're interested, what are, like, some of the first questions? Because I'm sure a lot of these companies, a lot of these people maybe aren't familiar at all with NASCAR. They know who Dale Earnhardt Jr. is, and that might be the extent of it. Like, what are some of the first questions that you and your team have to answer?
I think, most of the time, if someone comes to me right away and is like wanting to know the ROI and what this and that and that, it's more like, why don't you just come to the race? And that can sort of show you the ROI, because it's really hard to show someone's return on investment for putting their logos and brandings on the car and a driver and all that stuff through like one experience or one weekend or whatever. I mean, you really have to come to the track and be in it and see the thousands of campers, the people that are screaming out the drivers' names and asking for autographs, and how many times everyone's going to email you and ask you for a hero card that has all your company's information on it and what you do. What it's like to be on the grid and pull for someone that's actually in the race and kind of live through that feeling. For all the other people that have that same feeling for the guy that you're supporting, and they support you back, and it's really hard to just like put that into numbers.
An email.
It's more than, it's more than that. It's an experience that you have to come to the track and have, and once you have it, you understand. And once you are in it and you love the sport, it's really hard to not be a part of it. And I think that's the most challenging thing is, you get a lot of companies that have other companies that do their marketing for them, and they want to control the money and put it where they want to put it. And so a lot of times it's hard for you to sell to those people. And it's more like, hey, why don't you just come to the racetrack and see how we handle ourselves and represent our other partners at the racetrack, and you'll have a much better understanding of how all this works. And honestly, like 9 times out of 10, that works.
Yeah, no, that's
It
great. The
does.
in-person experience, I mean, it sold me as a fan. I imagine it sells sponsorship as well, no doubt. One more question here. I think we've gotten a few questions from this viewer in the past. I like their name. Crazy Train the Insane says, if Brennan were to get a Cup Series offer to drive a 25th to 35th place car, would he take it, or would he rather be a contender in the Xfinity Series?
I think I would for sure do a 25th to 35th place at Cup Car. It just Sundays are so special, man. I've been able to
It's
do it
bigger, yeah,
43 times now. And it's just, it's everything. I mean, it's kind of like if you could, play in the NFL or you just keep playing college for like, San Diego State or whatever you want to
but you're starting
compare to
in
doing it
San Diego
now.
State, whereas you might be
Yeah,
second or third string in the NFL. Like, what's like, where
yeah,
is the?
maybe. I mean,
I'm
I
with.
would compare it to being like, okay, well, I played, well, I mean, I don't know what teams are good in the NFL right now or not, but I mean, it would be like playing on like the Browns.
They're
It's
usually
like,
not very good. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, but you're still in the NFL, you're still playing, and you're still trying to
Interesting.
build something and help this team get better, and you're
Yeah.
fighting for more. You still have a chance to win, believe it or not. I mean,
Yeah. That's
you
an interesting.
still,
I've never heard that comparison before. That's
yeah.
actually a really strong one.
So it's tough.
And the money's good on Sunday too. I mean, Miles Garrett, Cleveland Browns, got paid. He's on a terrible team, but he got paid, so I think he's doing
Yeah,
okay.
you get paid more than and when you drive an Xfinity for sure. So
Yeah.
it definitely would be like I would do that in a second. You wouldn't have to
Yeah.
ask me twice. But if I
Yeah.
had to, I don't know. I'd love to also get in an Xfinity car that's capable of winning races every week, like a Gibbs car or RCR or Junior. Or
For
I
sure.
would
Yeah.
love to drive one of those cars and have a shot to win every single week. That would be a tremendous amount of fun.
Yeah, it's just interesting because every driver's perspective is a little different. Like, some drivers, like John Hunter Nemechek, for example, and everyone has a different situation. I don't know John Hunter's situation, but for him to go from, he was in like a 30th place Cup car, maybe he wasn't quite ready for it, dropped down to trucks, got in the Toyota system, won in trucks, won in Xfinity. He's back in Cup now. Like, he was willing to make that trade, and it's worked out for him. His situation's different than, say, like a Corey LaJoy, where if you go on social media, you'll see fans who are like, damn, if only Corey would just go full-time in trucks. Look what he did the last couple months. He'd be great. He'd be top 5 every week, probably win a race or two. But Corey doesn't do it, and Corey has his own reasons, I'm sure. I know he's got, on the media side, he's doing stuff with Amazon Prime. He's got family stuff. Like, every driver prioritizes something a little different and is at a different place in their career. So it's never as obvious as like, hey, you got a chance to win in trucks. Why would you not take that? It's like, well, that's not always the best situation for a driver
Yeah.
considering their situation, both personally and professionally. So, yeah, no, it's interesting to hear your perspective on that. And that's a great question. Crazy Train the Insane. Thank you all for leaving comments and questions under our most recent episode. This is going to be our final episode of this season, but we hope to see you all again next year in 2026. Brennan, what are you going to be doing this off season besides Thanksgiving stuff and
Oh
I
man.
guess procrastinating your Christmas decorating, at least compared to my household.
Man, I'm gonna go see the family. I'm definitely going to New Jersey. I'm definitely going to New York City for my 1 year wedding anniversary
Ooh, fun.
with Lindsay. Yeah, and I'm gonna be eating a lot of pizza. I'm sure New York slice.
Jealous.
Dude, I cannot wait. I'm probably gonna stop by and see Gino's. Go get a cheesesteak in Philadelphia on my way through as well, which is also one of my top favorite things to do.
Okay.
And I hit up Ricca's Pizza, another place in town in New Jersey I love to go to. They've been big supporters of me, so I think they might listen to this show. So what's up,
Oh,
Mr.
wow.
Ricca?
We
So I'm
have
gonna go
pizza
there.
places listening to the show. I
Yeah,
love that.
man.
It needs
Yeah,
some
I
good.
have one of them in Lindsay's town wants a piece of my car to hang on the wall. I'm not even from
Oh,
there, but I'm
oh,
just an
like in the
honorary
restaurant.
Hamiltonian. Yeah.
Oh, they
Yep.
need to, if they do that, I am there. I got to go see that. That's awesome.
So, but yeah, we're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna play a lot of Battlefield, I'm sure, over the off season, and probably race in the 24 Hours of Daytona in January for iRacing, and I'll do some fun stuff. And hang out with my guys and start getting ready for Daytona coming up. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be cool.
Yeah.
I'm running a cool little deal in Daytona, so I'm excited for when all that stuff announcements and all that stuff comes
Ooh,
out. So yeah, man, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure we'll get
nice.
some more live shows in next year
Yep.
at the experience stages. So
Can't
you guys
wait.
be looking out for all that.
Going
And
on
yeah,
tour.
going on tour, baby. It's gonna be
We
fun.
got to get like tour T-shirts made, and it's just gonna be Daytona, Phoenix, Kansas, wherever all the NASCAR owned tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, good stuff. Going to be a fun off season. I forgot. I guess we're both celebrating our 1 year wedding anniversaries. You're going to New York to eat pizza. That sounds good to me. We're going to Hawaii, which I've never been to Hawaii, but
Okay.
gonna enjoy a week out there. I'm excited. I think scenery, fresh air, beach views. I got you beat this time around, but I am
Probably.
jealous. I'm jealous of the Italian food you are going to be consuming
Yes.
because I'm sure that the food in Hawaii is great, but I'm not a big seafood guy, so I'm going to have to find some other variations and options, and I'm worried there won't be as many great options. So if anyone watching is from Hawaii, has been to Hawaii, has visited, give me some food recommendations that aren't just seafood this, seafood that, seafood, because I don't eat it a ton. My wife doesn't eat it at all, so we're that's the hard part. We're very excited to see the beautiful peaks of Hawaii, but the food has me concerned. I want to go to this pizza place you're talking about now, Brennan. That's got me hungry. So that is my plea to the chat to give us some Hawaii food recommendations. That's the only thing missing from our itinerary. But it's going to be a fun off season, and we will be ready to hit the ground running with even more Sour Power Hour in the big
Yes.
2026. Brennan, great to chat with you as always. We'll see you next year, folks. Have a happy
Yeah.
holidays, a merry off season, happy new year, a happy new playoff system. I don't know.
Yeah, and if you guys are looking for anything, check out brennanpool.com. I've got shirts, I've got hats, I've
There
got
you
these
go.
die casts for sale that you see right behind me. I've signed every one of them. It makes a great gift. It makes a great Christmas gift. So
That is an excellent plug. I didn't even think about that with Christmas and Christmas gifts. Yes, for the massive Brennan Pool fan in your life, check that out. Thank you all for watching / listening. We'll see you next time on Power Hour, folks. Take care.